Hey, welcome back, everybody. It's a little bit later in the morning, University of Houston. We're sitting here in the Houston Energy and Climate Week, and I have James sitting across me. How you doing today, James?
Good morning, Mike.
All right. So you started talking before I turned on the microphone. I said, stop. That's too good. Did I hear you say that you can turn CO2 into hydrogen?
Correct.
That is amazing. Now, I took organic chemistry and dropped it 3 times in college, and eventually I passed it. So I have a very small understanding of chemistry, but this has to be done with a catalyst. How do you actually turn CO2 into hydrogen?
Okay, let me give you
And
the
if it's
the
proprietary,
layman term.
we don't have to talk about it.
Oh, I need to expose.
Yeah.
We in the climate world, we want to share technology. We want to share new invention. Well, I passed the first time organic chemistry here at University of Houston.
You went to school here. This is crazy. That's awesome.
Back in 1980.
Yeah,
with an A. But anyhow, yes. How I in the past 8 years, I create a process that converting CO2 using salt water, and go through that channel, you convert salt water into hydrogen.
James, that sounds impossible, but you're sitting across from me, so it has to be legit.
Yes, sir.
What a fantastic process. Now, is this process, is it just in vitro? Is it just in the lab? Have you brought it yet out into the field? Is it scalable? Like, where are you in that
Well,
journey?
matter of fact, I have scale in my own lab.
Right.
Up to I can convert to hydrogen, but let me step back. CO2, when you split the CO2, you got electron flowing around.
Correct.
And I use nano electrode like the battery.
Right.
Okay, collect that electron. So I convert that into DC volt. And from that DC volt, I can go back to electrolyzer process to produce
So
hydrogen.
you're electrolyzing. Okay, now I get it. But wait, so now you're generating your own electricity to electrolyze? That is...
So it's electrochemical reaction process
Right.
that I can convert CO2 to electricity.
Yeah, and so remind me, make sure I get this right. So if I remember correctly, you can electrolyze water. So you basically run electricity through water. And since water is made of hydrogen and oxygen, you get both hydrogen and oxygen when you electrolyze water. You're doing something similar with CO2. And I'm trying to figure out where the hydrogen comes from.
Well, you use the water. Seawater as a catalyst.
Okay.
Get back to your question earlier.
Yes.
So seawater is actually the catalyst.
Yeah. Now, we've just lost our whole audience. We're too deep in the chemistry here, but I just want to understand how it works.
Okay.
This is amazing. Now, it looks like they're getting ready to kick things off, but where are you in this journey? Are you looking for partners? Are you looking for venture capital money? Are you commercialized? Do you have customers?
I'm working on a JV agreement with an oil and gas company here in Houston with an asset base about $100 billion. And I won't name
No, don't name
it's
them.
not commercial
Right.
this one. But anyway, we will try our technology in the next year or so to scale it up so that we can collectively probably process about at least 1 million tons a year.
James.
on a refinery.
James, do you know what produced water is?
Say it again.
Produced water. So when you drill an oil well,
Yes.
one of the things that you get is water naturally from the ground. That water has heavy metals in it, slightly radioactive. It's called produced water. It's a waste product, and we have to dispose of it. Typically, we inject it in the ground in what's called saltwater disposal wells, and that injection of that water sometimes causes a seismic event, so earthquakes. That's where the minor earthquakes come from oil and gas operations,
Yes.
right? So if you don't know what I'm talking about, you probably can't answer me. But boy, James, if you could use produced water in your process, that's a cost to the oil and gas industry, but you could turn it into a product. You might want to mention to whoever you're working with, hey, can we do this with produced water? Just my own curiosity. That would be another way for you to help lessen the impact.
You mean using some wastewater?
Yeah.
And clean it out and re-inject that water?
You wouldn't even have to clean it up. If you could use it in your process to turn CO2 into hydrogen, that wastewater is being thrown away. I say thrown away. We have to pay to dispose of it.
Oh.
So it's a cost now. But if you could turn that into a product, that would be.
I can.
Well, we just might have done something on the microphone that might turn into something really huge, because the entire oil and gas industry would be knocking on your door if you could help them with that produced water, because it's a cost. It's not good for the environment. In fact, if you spill it on the ground, it'll kill anything. And so that's actually in the Permian Basin. There's a lot of problems with getting rid of the produced water.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
So we might have just discovered something on this podcast. You need to go take that and go run with it and do some research.
Well, I can look into it, because I do work with the the water company, that we purify the water, wastewater, and then we purify it, and then we extract little lithium, little carbon. Copper and other mineral in there. Okay, so. I say, what you saying? We can go into the lab and look into the process and see how we can.
If you figure this out and make money on it, you owe me a bottle of malt wine, a good Malbec, right? It does. They are getting ready to start in a minute. I do kind of want to wind this thing down.
Okay.
So we're here at Climate Week, Houston Energy and Climate Week. When I say the word climate, what does that mean to you?
I have been, let me go back to a little history here. This is 20 years. I serve at the ASTM Commission to create the standard on nanotechnology here in the United States. So the committee is E56, and I'm chair on the E5603, which managing the environmental and occupational health of the nanotech for the United States.
Wow.
Under Bush administration, based on that Nano Initiative Act of 2003. So environmental climate, to me, is my soul and my commitment for the last 21 years.
I love it.
And as a scientist, I try to create a method, which I did, two of them, nanogel and the process CO2 to electricity, to solve that problem that we are facing today. Actually, 20 years ago when I travel international, if I go to the North Pole, I can see a pack of ice. But nowadays I see a little river from 35,000 feet up in the sky. And it's concerned me because I have children and now grandchildren. I see the generation after me with their knowledge base, yet they understand what's happening. Just like the typhoon that just hit South China, just like yesterday. It's on, I think, Category 4, but the damage was like never seen before. Okay, it hit South China, north of Vietnam, and I don't know how many losses in life, but in life count. But I think the property loss is tremendous.
But it's still too early to tell. They still don't know what happened completely.
But I got some private source, in Vietnam that reported to me. But it's disrupting a normal life.
Right.
And it will be, for the Vietnamese northern state, we're going to be like 2 or 3 years before they can even talk about recovery.
Right.
That in terms of economic meaning.
Yeah, and I do want to back you up a little bit because this is not the tech podcast. When you talk about nanotechnology, that is a millionth of a millimeter. Is that right?
Yeah, if you look at our hair right here, so that's roughly about 100,000 bigger than a nano.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So when he's talking about nano projects stuff, he's talking about stuff that's extremely small.
Correct.
Extremely small. And there's a lot of really cool work being done in the nano space. Amazing stuff. James, this has been a great conversation. I wish we didn't have to stop this.
Okay.
But we do need to wind it down because you're getting ready to start
Yes.
the proceedings here.
Yes.
If people want it, so you already work with the oil and gas company on your technology. But I guess if people wanted to reach out to you and learn more, what's the best way for them to do that? LinkedIn?
Yes, LeQuynh, James LeQuynh on LinkedIn, and then you mind if I give out my number?
No, don't give your phone number because you never do that on a podcast.
Okay.
What we'll do is we'll put a link to James's LinkedIn profile in the show notes, audience. So if you want to check out what he's doing, just either scroll left or right and just click on his link and you can reach out to him on LinkedIn.
Yes.
This has been an amazing conversation, amazingly short conversation, but good. I wish you much success. It sounds like what you're doing is incredible. It almost sounds impossible, but I know you're telling me the truth. And congratulations on figuring something like that out. That is just amazing.
I appreciate that. Yes.
Thanks for joining me.
Thank you, sir.
All right, folks, we will see you next time.